on the next episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes.
And for today's segment, drum roll please. We are flying through space with Platinum Nova cigars.
Nova.
Sounds good.
That's right. So the cigars we will be reviewing today were graciously given to us by Leo from Platinum Nova Cigars.
I believe it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nova Platinum Cigars?
No, I'm pretty sure
Is Platinum Nova?
Platinum Nova.
Okay.
Is that right? What's that card say right there?
Ultra premium cigars.
Let me see it.
Platinum Nova.
Yep, Platinum Nova.
Cool.
Nailed it. Got it right. So today, the Platinum Nova cigars we're going to go over is the Congress, the 5 Burroughs, the Platinum Batch Toro, and finally the 484.
We'll be right back after this break. Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Hey man, got a light? It's time for Smokes.
Welcome to this Smokes episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. Our host today, our good old boy Mike on the ones and twos with us. I'm your host, good old boy Barger, and with us today we have good old boy Rich.
Howdy.
And good old boy Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
We are the best thing on at 2 a.m. right before, are you still watching this? And just after, does this look infected?
I wish to register a complete...
As you know, it's not infected, so calm down, Janet.
There's a cream for that.
Yeah.
Right? But as you know, our smoke segments are about all things cigars and, well, anything that's smoked. And for today's segment, drum roll please. We are flying through space with Platinum Nova cigars.
Nova.
Sounds good.
That's right. That's right. We had a really good time talking to Leo at the PCA episode.
Leonore.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nicaragua.
I know. She's from Uruguay, so she's pretty awesome, not going to lie. So strap in and hang on while we drive.
Why'd you drive?
Yeah, I'm driving this bus,
driving?
guys. Just hold on to the bus.
Wow.
We're going to have fun today, but don't worry. If you miss anything, you can download a full episode
I'd like some new recreational drugs back here in aisle 5.
That's right.
You know, waitress, is there an air sick bag?
That's right. That's right. But you can download any of our episodes from anywhere you listen to podcasts. But before we dive into the shallow end of the pool, remember the buddy system. Where is your buddy?
Lars, shouldn't you be watching the kids?
Oh, don't worry, I have them on the body system.
Body system?
Yeah, have a look. Buddy! Buddy! Buddy!
Every time. I love that every time. If you're a cigar newbie, fret not. We got you covered on our Cigar 101 episode where all of this cigar speak will be decoded. Just search for Sip, Suds, and Smokes Cigars 101 episode. It should pop right up on the link below in the show notes. Good old boy Benjamin gets the honors of going over our smokes
I
ratings
checked that
today.
link. It is not linked to porn this week.
No, I need to fix that then.
How convenient.
I need to fix that. So, Benjamin, what do we got on our ratings today?
Today we'll be smoking and discussing the cigars and rating them with our Sip, Suds, and Smokes ratings, plus our signature sounds.
Whoop, whoop.
And here are those now. 1. This sucked even before it was lit. A 2. At least I lit it. 3. I'd smoke this again. 4. How much you want for them?
Magnificent.
Nailed it.
And 5. Where are they? I need a box.
So the cigars we will be reviewing today were graciously given to us by Leo from Platinum Nova Cigars.
I believe it. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nova Platinum Cigars?
No, I'm pretty sure
Is
it's
Platinum Nova?
Platinum Nova.
Okay.
Is that right? What's that card say right there?
Ultra premium cigars.
Let me see it.
Platinum Nova.
Yep, Platinum Nova.
Cool.
Nailed it. Got it right. So today, the Platinum Nova
So for
cigars we're going to
everything.
go over is the Congress, the 5 Burroughs, the Platinum Batch Toro, and finally the 484. Benjamin has the wonderful, wonderful floor on telling us about the Platinum Nova Congress.
Cool deal. Platinum Nova Congress is a 43 by 7. Wrapper is an H2000 Connecticut, Ecuador. Fillers Dominican. Binders Dominican. Smooth and full of aromatic flavors, this blend delivers touches of cinnamon leather with subtle notes of spices. With a consistent burn and draw, this pigtail medium body Lancero is enjoyable with an early morning coffee or a light cocktail to start your day.
And what was the girth on that?
Light 40.
Today we're going to be
43.
demonstrating how to measure girth. Girth is a very important measurement when determining sizes. First, take your tape measure, place it at the center of the shoulder, bring it down through the crotch,
Heyo.
and back up again, making sure it's going over the widest part.
See, when they do that to you, when they're measuring you, it's like if you go, they don't like that. It's weird.
It's light chestnut in color, resulting in a mellow and creamy flavor. Much like Barger, I'm a sucker for this length and girth. Right,
I love it. It's my favorite.
The Lancero gives me at least the quintessential cigar smoking experience. It's the right balance of filler to binder and wrapper for me.
Absolutely.
It's the right time frame for me. I also feel like it's a little bit more elegant, right? Just because of the shape and the length,
Yeah.
right? I feel like if it's if you know kind of thing, right? If you're sitting in a lounge and the bros are out, because they
Yeah.
want to smoke a cigar on a Saturday, a lot of Toros, you see people with like large ring gauges and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of machismo and smoking cigars that way. But when I think of, taking the time to spend and smoke a cigar, like Lancero is where it's at.
Yeah,
Feels refined.
100% with you. Lanceros are my jam, and I wish more people made them lately.
Tough to roll is what I
It is
understand.
tough to roll, and it's very hard to maintain in a factory. They do. They get
And that's
tight.
the other thing too, right? Is like this one takes a level of skill to roll as well, because I've definitely had those Lanceros that are too tight and you don't get the draw off of.
Yep, that
and
happens.
it is a very frustrating and disappointing experience because I was already kind of keyed up about it anyway.
Yeah.
But this Platinum Nova Congress, creamy deliciousness. I really thoroughly enjoyed this smoke. I do tend to be a more heavy, spicy, bolder cigar smoker. And this one was, I wanted something, just kind of nice and light and, lush is the term that's coming to mind, in a smoking experience. And this is exactly, what that was.
Yeah. Rich, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I liked it. It was, I think it was a little light for when I smoked it. This is, to me, more of a morning cigar for sure. But it was very consistent. I did have to touch it up a bit, but not too bad. I think at the price point, it's something that I really have to sit down and really enjoy to get your money's worth out of that one.
So actually, as I love the size, Lancero is my favorite. This was not actually my favorite cigar of the bunch. I said in my notes that this is consistent as hell. The flavor is mild. I thought it would be bigger and punchier due to the wrapper, but I was wrong about that, but it was actually really good flavored cigar, like through and through. It was the consistency, the burn line, the construction was amazing in this cigar, and I had a really good time with it. Although it didn't fit the flavor profile that I thought it would have.
Some of my notes here on the Platinum Nova Congress, it's kind of started spicy and it stayed spicy. And, I think that's one of the things that I like when I'm having a cigar is, there's a beginning, middle, and an end, and it just seemed kind of very one-notish. It just kind of, however it was lit, it just stayed right there and never even moved, around at all. Good draw. Good construction. It actually finished better than it started, which is that's definitely what you want at the end of the day. But, I think across the lineup, this probably wasn't, my favorite, of the ones we're going to go through today. I don't know that I would come back and probably revisit this, but
I would definitely revisit this.
You would revisit it because it's a Lancero, not because it was good.
100%. I'm okay with that.
Why you would choose this, for sure. But, I can't remember the order that I had all of these. I know which one I had last because I smoked it with Barger. But I don't remember quite the order that I had all these in.
This was the second one. This is the second one that I smoked in the lineup. And so even the first one that I smoked was my hands down favorite out of the ones that we smoked. And we'll talk about it when we get there. But this one was second, and for it to be that other end of the spectrum from the other things that we had from Platinum Nova, I thought it was, and like I said, this is typically not the shade of wrapper or style of cigar that I reach for, but I would definitely smoke this again.
This is the first one I smoked, and I just felt I think one of the things that influenced this was I had eaten something a little spicy right before I smoked it.
What'd you eat?
I'm not going to tell you that.
So were you tossing? No. Tossing off some of that flavor profile to what you ate as opposed to what was coming from the cigar?
Yeah, I think it influenced.
You weren't really quite sure what was.
Yeah, I think the food influenced this cigar a little bit more than I probably should have. But I think so. Not that I wouldn't smoke it again. I definitely would. But I think I would probably smoke it after a more lighter meal.
I would put that as an enhancement personally, because if it pairs well with the food that I'm eating, then I'm down 100%.
Yeah. So, but it shouldn't overwhelm the food. Shouldn't overwhelm the cigar. Let me put it that way.
Sure, I get that. So what are we rating this cigar here, boys? We're gonna go 3 across the board. All right. Well, we're going to take a little break here shortly and tell you guys a little bit about things that you need to purchase.
Well, so Rich, after you had this first cigar, you were like, "Wow, I can't wait to get to the rest of the product line."
No, yeah, I was looking forward to it, but I think it was more from my experience at the PCA and seeing what Nova was producing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but I definitely agree that this wasn't my favorite.
And away we go.
Yeah.
Welcome back from the break. We hope you guys find purchasing power and all of the things in the ads that you just were told. We just gave our review of the Platinum Nova Congress. We gave it a 3 across the board. We are now going to talk about the 5 Burroughs, and I think Mike is going to take it away with that. Go ahead, Mike.
So next up from Nova is the Platinum Nova Cigar 5 Burroughs. It's a Churchill at 50 by 7.
Today we're going to be demonstrating how to measure girth.
Most definitely.
Girth is a very important measurement when determining sizes.
What's your favorite size?
First, take...
Oh, you've already heard this. All right. So, this is Churchill for sure. Medium body is how they declare it anyway. The wrapper is San Andreas, double binder, Corojo, and Cubita, filler of Nicaragua. Their description here is the unique Vitola represents the dynamic of the 5 boroughs of New York and is featuring for the first time a double binder for a perfect smoking experience. This masterpiece is a delicious medium body cigar covered in a dark air dried San Andreas wrapper.
Get it out, boy.
I'm getting there. And double binder Corojo Cubita with Nicaraguan fillers. Altogether balanced and blended to perfection to give you a creamy, spicy with a hint of woody flavors aside. Tell them what they won there, Jake. So I'm sorry, it's marketing copy. Yeah, so I think that they introduced this this cigar at PCA for 23. I think that's when they introduced this particular stick, because I had it once from that convention and then came back around to this. Once again, some of my own notes around this. This was actually my favorite stick in the lineup.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is a good filler, good construction, good burn line. The draw was actually a bit muted, but I think that, when you have a Churchill, you after you have some of the other shorter sticks, you're like, wow, okay, this is not the same. Which actually got much better at the midpoint, which is kind of unusual, for me anyway. I think with Churchills, the draw actually gets tighter usually as thing goes on, because the crown is usually getting wetter and wetter, and you're like, whoa, this is just, I'm sucking on this forever. It actually turned at the band, for me. Yeah, I thought this was a good average, Churchill. I actually had this sitting with Barger, and
did that have any effect on your review of it?
Well, that always
did
has
that affect the flavor.
It always
at all?
has some general effect in general.
That guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Just putting a bad taste in my mouth.
I mean,
it's not. Me.
Would this
Barger.
be a stick I come back to? Probably not. But I thought, again, it was a good average middle of the road. What do you think, Benjamin?
This one was one note for me. I didn't really get all of the complexity of the 5 Burroughs, if you will. This was start to finish the same cigar.
Yeah,
which is something. If I'm out on the golf course or doing yard work or something like that, and I'm looking for something to smoke, like, that's fine. For something that is coming out of self-proclaimed, platinum type premium scenario, this was actually my least favorite out of the cigars in this lineup, just because I didn't really get the complexity. The double wrapper really didn't give any effect that I could notice. And yeah, I mean, and I've been wrong before. This is not the first time. But yeah, this didn't do it for me. Cool branding. I think that didn't have any construction issues out of it. Like, it smoked really well.
Sure.
But
I thought what was an interesting thing, the first thing that went through my head when I remember them talking about this cigar was, that they had said this was, akin to the 5 Burroughs. I spent a lot of time in New York City. And the first thing when somebody says, 5 Burroughs, the first thing that comes to my mind is the very distinct odor in each one of those Burroughs.
Their own.
It's like, welcome to Brooklyn. That's our smell, man.
Premium smoke is not what comes to mind necessarily.
If you're in
that's
Manhattan,
smog.
it's like,
that's not smoke.
hey, welcome to Lower Manhattan.
Yeah,
this is the way it's going to be smelling here. You're up in Queens. It's like, yo, hey, you can't park there.
Oh, I'm parking here. I
don't care what it smells like. You can't park there. So, it's very interesting when they said they were doing this, and I'm like, hopefully it does not align with what I think of are the odors of the 5 Burroughs.
What do you feel about the double binder? I mean, what do you think that
marketing babble?
Yeah, I mean, what does that really add to a smoke?
Well, I mean, okay, so if we're talking about the construction, right? I can understand the mindset, right? You're having, binder tends to be, the leaves that don't become wrappers, so you're gonna have a bit more flavor inflection from the binder than you would like your filler blend.
It's a thinner leaf.
That also being said, it did not come through for me. This is, I would absolutely chalk that up to marketing. Yeah. I can understand why we would do those things, but you could have not told me that it exists.
Yeah. I had a different experience.
In fact, I would have been a lot better off, right. Probably. Yeah.
So with the double binder, I'm actually a fan of a double binder. So one of my
shocker.
one of my favorite cigars is that Don Lino Africa with 4-leaf,
Yes.
double binder.
We've reviewed that on the show, by the way.
We have for sure. But
here's what I
Are
thought.
binders like blades on razors?
yeah, sure.
you have
Like I get it,
yourself.
and taste is subjective, and we all have our own whatever. But like I'm a fan of a double binder because I think the more you get into a cigar, the more complex it gets. Unlike some of the ones we talked about on our last episode, which you can listen to online wherever you get your podcast. However, I think that with the double binder, if you don't like a first third of a cigar, just hang tight. Just stick with it for a little bit, and then let it work its way down, because flavor profiles change over time. And also depending on what you eat, as Rich was stating earlier, or what you drink with it, coffee, bourbon, whiskey, tequila, whatever you want to put with your cigar, like those things can alter the flavor. So for me, I actually smoked 2 of these, and the first one I didn't like, but the second one I smoked with you that same day you smoked yours, and I put a mint julep and a margarita with it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was the day I made those.
And my Lord, it was that cigar was fantastic.
Yes.
Like that
How
margarita.
many mint juleps and/or margaritas had you had?
My cocktail elevated the cigar.
So I had 3 margaritas and 1 mint julep and some water in there too, because I don't like to get too far out there.
Teaspoon.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I remember distinctly the sugars from the margarita that I was drinking were really drawing out the spicier complexity of that cigar, which really made it an interesting experience for me. And Churchill is not my size. It's not my size at all. I think 7 inches in a cigar is just too long. But for me, like I smoked that thing down to a nub, and it was I really enjoyed that cigar. Like I would smoke that cigar again 100%.
The other thing that kind of throws me off here is the double binder cubita. Like,
I was trying to think, had I had
what is that?
If I had that just all by itself and something else, and I was like, looking all the way through my journal notes, and I'm like, wow.
And so I think that's another thing too. Is I'm a big fan of Corojo, right?
Love Corojo.
I'm a real fan of that reddish brown, oily wrapper leaf. They tend to have this like cool kind of smooth.
I'm thinking there was a fire sale on Cubita.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking there was. They were like, we don't have to buy as much Corojo.
And so, I mean, I was really looking for that, Cubita to stand out. And it just didn't. It was a miss for me. There wasn't enough of the Corojo to really light my fire, if you will. So.
It's interesting, though, listening to you guys talk about the, smoking it, because I had the same experience with this one. I really felt like it was just kind of okay, especially for the, the price point. They're kind of promoting this as a really high-end
Barger, do you hear that?
cigar.
Rich thought it sucked just as much as I did.
That's okay.
I didn't say it sucked. I did like it. I did like it.
See, when I say the exact same thing, they go, well, you thought it sucked. You just said it was okay.
I'm over here trying to look up the definition of cubita. Leave me alone.
Yeah. But yeah, I just felt what was interesting though is like what was coming to my mind is like I kind of need to give this cigar another chance. It's kind of like I really felt like I didn't get the full experience
that's what I
of
did.
it. Well, I know, so maybe that's what I'm
all
saying.
didn't get
Maybe
to, Barger.
we all didn't get to.
I can't help that.
But could have.
No, I couldn't have.
But it was interesting.
Well, let's give it a rating here, boys. That's going to be a 4. We rated it the same. Remember that?
Like I said.
Magnificent.
Yeah, that was not the same across our entire group here.
That's okay. That's okay. Majority rules here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next on the list is the Platinum Batch Toro.
Oh, that's me.
Which Rich is going to go over with us.
So Platinum Batch Toro, which is a 6x54. Now, why'd you put the 6 in front of the 54?
Because the 54 is the girth.
Oh, that's the girth.
Yeah, the girth.
Oh, sorry.
Today we're going to be demonstrating how to measure girth. Girth is a very important measurement when determining sizes. First, take your tape measure, place it at the center of the shoulder, bring it down through the crotch, and back up again.
Don't use the pins there.
Making
That's my
sure
favorite part.
it's going over the widest part.
All right. That is a medium body. Wrapper is a Mexican San Andreas Maduro. Double binder, Dominican Republic, Havana, Vuelta Arriba. And the filler is a Dominican Republic. What are you handing to me?
So that's the story of the cigar that I want you to read there.
Okay.
Sorry, folks. My notes are a little jumbled in this episode today.
So, a Dominican San what is that? Vincete and Dominican Pilato blend delivered from the... I love it when you just hand me stuff to read
let me
right
see
off
that.
the top of my...
Well, I messed up on this one, folks.
Yes, you did.
Let's just talk about it. What do you got? What are your notes on this cigar?
I love this one. I love this cigar. Full body. I love the change of flavor as you smoked it down. To me, there was a distinct change throughout the cigar, probably a third of the way and a third of the way down. This is one of those unique sticks for me that it got better as I smoked it. I did do a little bit of relight on it, but it was a definitely good burn all the way down.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to smoke this all the way as far as I could. And I definitely think this is one that I will pick up again.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. So what they say about this cigar is the Toro Batch cigar is a medium plus flavor profile, yet with a mild earthy aroma, leathery flavors due to its dark San Andreas wrapper, which I'm a huge fan of San Andreas wrappers if you've listened to any of our episodes. The Dominican filler and binders and notes complex in this cigar will develop light flavors of ginger, cinnamon, spice to finish. I'm a fan. I like this cigar.
Yeah, well, the size of this is definitely my jam. I mean, I think Toros are just a good representation of, everything kind of right down the middle. So if you're not going to like this size, I don't think you're going to like something shorter or longer, in terms of size. But yeah, the thing that I remember about this was I did like it, and I remember what I was pairing it with probably more than anything, because I was having some really, really good rum, with this that was from Plantation. I think it was Barbados.
Yes.
From Plantation, on the Plantation label. But I think I was probably digging the rum more than the cigar, to be honest with you. But that's not unusual. The thing that I kept on scratching my head again was, the double, binder situation again as well. And I was debating, and actually with this one, with the Dominican, I really thought that for some reason it just got lost, because everything that I would have thought the Dominican, binder would have brought to the table, I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, I don't know that I've had a lot of things that were just had this Havana binder in it, and I was really kind of digging it. And I think that I had this cigar second. And so I was like, wow, I can't wait to have this in something else. And lo and behold, it was not in any other product. So I was like, I'm sorry, it is in the 484. But, and I think I was looking forward to, the Churchill and thinking, oh, wow, that's going to have, some of the same in it. And lo and behold, this wasn't part of that filler at all. So it was kind of a bit of a head fake, at the end of the day. But, yeah, a good average Toro. I would definitely go back to the rum.
See, I really like this cigar as well. And I had a little bit of a construction issue, so the side of this one blew out on me.
Oh, wow.
And so, but I stuck with it. I stuck with it, and I smoked it. And, even with it, the side busting out of the cigar, like, the flavor was there for me. Like, I really enjoyed the flavor of this cigar. And even the size, the ring gauge, all that is right on point with what I like. So I think that, you're doing yourself a disservice by not trying it. Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I like about Platinum Nova is all of their tobacco is 10 to 15 year aged. And,
that's a long time.
I know. So a lot of this tobacco is older tobacco. So some of the properties may fall off, and it might get different characteristics of tobacco that was. So when you're talking about some of these leaves, you're actually getting a different flavor of the leaf as it ages.
Oh, absolutely.
And so some of these leaves, like you were talking about, like they may or may not taste what you think they taste like later on down the road. What do you think?
This one was the champion of the Platinum lineup, the Platinum Nova lineup that we had for me. This was everything that I classically look for in a cigar. It had a nice body to it. The smoke was kind of heavy.
Sure.
It had a nice bit of spice to it that I enjoyed. For me, the ginger and cinnamon wasn't as much, but definitely some more kind of like peppery spices it was really, really nice. The double binder here is something that I could maybe get behind, because of the Dominican and the Havana, being covered by that Mexican San Andreas. For me, Dominican wrappers and tobacco leaves tend to have a bit of like a milder kind of inflection to them. They tend to bring a smoothness to cigars.
But spicy San Andreas,
100%, right?
Yeah.
And so in that experience, man, like this one was one that I nubbed as well. I would have taken it all the way down. This one, definitely deserves a cigar pick. If I had another one, I would have,
See, I did as well. I smoked that thing to a nub. I nubbed it down, even with the blowout. The blowout, once I got past the blowout, I was like, yeah, now we're cooking with bacon.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate here, and I think that's one of the things, too, where when you're moving through a box of cigars, right, they're not all going to have that great construction. You might find some flaws here and there.
Well, that's going to happen with any handmade product.
That's exactly right.
You got to take the good with the bad. And at this point, I was going, you know what? This could have been my humidification. This could have been from travel from the PCA. This could have been from anything. So I wasn't trying to chalk that up to a construction.
You know what causes blowout, don't you?
What's that?
Sin.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Should we talk about that with our pastor?
Yeah. Small groups, right?
Small group.
Yeah, small groups. That's right.
And it's definitely one thing I found about the different cigars is that the blend was so important.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be blended well.
It does.
And I think, to me, this one blended so much better than the 5 Burroughs.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I agree with that statement. So what do we got a rating for? So we're going to go with 5s. And welcome back from those sets of ads, and please buy whatever they're selling.
Buy now, buy now, buy now.
We just rated the Platinum Batch Toro from Platinum Nova Cigars, and we gave it a 5. So now the last cigar on our list is the 484.
I wanted to talk about my hunting down a sound effect for this show.
Yeah, go for it.
So, I always try to find something that matches, our discussion. And so I was looking for something for the show, and I was looking for somebody saying, "Welcome to Nicaragua." A lot better than the way I just said it there, and some native tongue. And so I kept on running into all these very interesting people who are talking about, phrases, in Nicaragua, as well as slang, in Nicaragua. And, how to cuss, in Nicaragua, as well. And so it's always very interesting when you kind of fall down what I call, the hole of just, you're never really quite sure what you're going to find when you start searching for something. But I think it was interesting. I felt like I had enjoyed a lot of the culture just by vicariously going down and looking, for the sound effects. So I found this, one clip about this guy. He went through 10 or 12 different clips, and he was a transplant himself, so he was not native Nicaraguan, and so he kept on always talking to things like, he's not a native, but I know how to teach you how to speak native. I was like, this is a little weird, but some of these are really funny, and this is the one that caught my attention.
Another phrase that's really common is "no hay problema." This is like, don't worry about it, there's no problem. You'll hear that a lot, usually as a foreigner, just because us foreigners tend to talk a lot and be really fast and stimulated and drink too much coffee and all this. And so Nicaraguans are usually like, chill, slow down, no hay problema.
Yeah. No este problema.
No hay problema.
No problema.
No, not nuevo. No.
Balls are the problem.
Española.
Yeah, I'm horrible at Spanish.
No hay problema.
Yeah, I failed that in high school.
But I really enjoyed learning all the cuss words, with the proper dialect. I'm not going to say any of them because this is a clean family cigar show.
It's a family show. That's right.
But it was, I don't know, if you just want to, if you're looking for something to do while you're enjoying one of these cigars, I don't know. Try something similar, fire up some videos or, some other things you can find on the interwebs to really kind of entertain yourself. Watch a novello, in Nicaragua. I can't believe it. They have all this.
Chinese in there somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Well, speaking of family, I just want to talk a little bit about Platinum Nova Cigars.
Yes.
Platinum Nova Cigars, this is from their website, is a series of creation of a lifetime of brand, represents a promise to their grandfather, decades of meticulous teaching on how to create a premium quality cigar while implementing the highest standards. Every Platinum Nova cigar carries personal family touch that makes it one of the world's finest cigar in any sense. Now, Leo is carrying this torch on. Her grandfather passed away at 91 years old.
Wow.
In 2017, but it says that his spirit remains with them and they will continue the legacy bestowed upon them, which is awesome. And it really shows to me in their craftsmanship, like in their cigars, even though like I had the cigar with a blowout in it, like the burn line never changed. Like it was consistent through burning through
even
that.
with the blowout.
Even with the blowout.
That's crazy.
The consistency just burned right through it. Now, their tobacco quality is what I want to talk about a little bit. So they say that only the highest vintage tobacco and most skilled hand workmen go into making of each Platinum Nova cigar, resulting in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. Our cigars use a long time aged ultra premium tobacco from the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and around the world. Their tobacco is aged 10 to 15 years. Then cigars crafted from it are then sorted into their Spanish cedar vaults for over 3 years. So they may peak to perfection and create a marriage of blends that ultimately produce an excellent heavyweight cigar before being introduced to the market. The unique combination of our Nova tobacco produces flavors both smooth and bold. The cigars are balanced with an aromatic, sweet, lingering fullness and exclusive vintage Nova tobacco. Now, aside from what we've smoked in this show, I have smoked a couple other cigars in their line. And man, it really does show. Like the craftsmanship does show in their product, and which is interesting because some people when they say things like this, you think it's a gimmick, and it's like, well, we're just going to do this and we're going to say this and we're going to. But honestly, I haven't had a horrible or even a bad Nova, which is, and I didn't even notice anything about Platinum Nova cigars until last year's PCA when I spoke to her. Leo at the last year's PCA, and she was like one of the first people I talked to, so it was kind of like a quick exchange, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So she'd give us ones of I think they were a lunar cycle blend that she had, and man, that cigar was awesome.
Well, and I think there's a lot to be said about letting something age for 10 to 15 years
absolutely
before you start blending it and rolling it. A lot of places are trying to get to market, a little bit quicker, right? So you're seeing, not uncommon for tobacco to be aged like in that 5 to like 7 or 8 year range, right?
Sure.
I would say that's pretty common for most premium tobaccos, but to let it go for 10 to 15 years
that
on
is
average,
dedication.
Time,
and then blend and roll, and then let it sit for another 3 years.
Yeah.
Right, you're talking about something that could possibly be 18 years old
before it even gets to your mouth.
That's exactly right.
Well, and we know that the flavor of the tobacco changes over time, right?
Absolutely.
So it does make sense that you want to know where it's going.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these tobaccos are blended, within first 5 years or whatever. It's a different cigar after another 5 years or so.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're waiting. You've got a 10-year-old tobacco and then you blend it, what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So I think it just goes to really improve the flavor.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, I don't know that every cigar manufacturer would make that choice because I don't know that they have the luxury of, that period of time to work with. So I think it's great if, they are just simply not, in a rush, to move to market. But I don't know, there's something about, fermentation really can take on a lot of wonderful things, and it can really go south, too.
Yes, big time.
And so, I think that, when you're asking for working with something that is working with, a bug and time, and you're trying to do something very consistent, that's a tall order to pull that off. I just, if that's an industry standard, I'm not aware of anybody, a lot of other people choosing 15 years. But, if they make it work for them and they put a great product, in the box at the end of the day, hey, more power to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Another crazy thing about that is not exorbitantly expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
You would
think time is money. Yeah.
Something that takes that long to
mature. Some of their lines are a little more on the pricier range.
That Platinum Batch MSRP's for $13.
Yeah, well, they've got some legacy blends and some other things that are 20s, upper
great.
20s.
Put it in a coffin box. Charge $60.
Absolutely.
Their statement is
That's right.
Their statement is 10 to 15 years, right? And then they start blending. So even their baseline.
Yeah.
So you could get something that has that age of tobacco to a price point that's approachable in the cigar world.
Well, up next is the Nova 484. And I'm going to be going over that one for you guys. So introducing their newest size is a 48 by 4, and it comes in a 4-pack.
I got a 48 by 4.
Yeah, I know. I heard that about you. The wrapper is a Habano 2000 Ecuador. The filler is a Olor Dominicano, and the binder is a Paluto Cubano. It says Nova 484 comes in a 4-cigar pack presentation. This cigar is medium plus, which allows both new smokers and experienced aficionados to enjoy a blend that has body and a hearty expression. The beautiful construction cigar made in the Dominican Republic that's a combination of rich Dominican tobacco finished with an exquisite Habano 2000 Ecuador wrapper.
So is this just the Toro in a half size? Because it's exactly the same.
Yeah,
because I think that is the case here.
Whatever it is, I loved it.
I started, a poquito robusto.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure, like a petite robusto.
It was just like, wow, man. Yeah.
I think my notes even said, I love this cigar, and I don't care what Mike says about it.
I'm pretty sure that is exactly the way you responded, because I wrote, it was actually over before it started. So, some plumes. Some plums, and something kind of sweet thing, like almost vanilla frosting, was in the middle of this. I thought it was a good average smoke again, but that size definitely didn't work for me.
I love that size.
But I kind of like this size. It depends on what I'm doing.
This is dog walk size.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Well,
totally.
and a lot of times that's what I got time for. Right?
Yeah.
It's not I can't sit down with
one of my favorite brand names. This is dog walk.
It's a dog walk. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We did an episode about that too.
We did. Yeah.
The dog walker.
The dog walker.
Yeah.
Same boat, right? There are, especially in my new family life, right? The wife and I just had a kid a couple of months ago, and so that time that I used to have to sit down and light up a Toro and spend it to have that full experience of smoking a cigar has gotten a little bit fewer and far between, and so now I actually find myself trying to find something that's in this like petite Corona, petite Robusto,
petite Lancero,
and that's where I was going.
Yeah, bro.
There's the layup.
I'll be your Pippin. I'll be your Pippin.
It's something that's super intriguing to me. The other thing about it is with that cigar versus if it has a larger version of itself, right? If there's a larger Vitola that they produce, it's a good like intro. It's a nice little snapshot of hopefully what I can look forward to if I can find it in a larger size and have the time to sit down and smoke and kind of dig into it a little bit more.
Yeah. I think what threw me off is that I thought this and the Toro were different. And, they were not they didn't have the same taste profile, I thought. So I thought that was rather interesting because you would think they're exact same thing. It's just a different size.
But the ring gauge, the girth has a lot to play with that.
Yeah, I could see that,
Because you got a little bit less of that binder in there.
Girth matters.
That girth does matter,
That
girls.
sugary thing that I was picking up on, I think, was what kind of really tossed me off. I was like, wow, okay, that was not in the Toro. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I would buy a box of these cigars.
I like this cigar. I have to say, I again, my disclaimer is I may not have chosen the meal before because I ate an Italian beef with lots of peppers on it.
Oh my gosh.
Which was fantastic for another day. But this cigar, it was pretty bold.
No, I thought the same. It was a really bold cigar.
So, and I did like it. I didn't like it as much as the Toro, but it was, and I think maybe the time that it takes and the flavor that, progresses over the time that you're smoking may have something to do with that, right?
We should rate this up and then talk about the product line. Sorry, everybody. I was just looking at time here, so I'm going to give that.
We're going to go with a 4.
Wow. All right.
Magnificent.
Nailed it. So let's talk a little bit about pairings, guys. What did you pair? We know I paired a margarita and some other stuff with it. So what did you guys pair with them?
I remember having a rye with the Toro and
a rum with the other one.
Yeah. I don't remember the rye really working very well. It felt like it was fighting it, and I just put the rye away and just finished the cigar. That was part of what I remember about that particular pairing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Y'all?
The rum definitely worked.
What about you guys? Coffee, water?
It was a root beer for me.
Yeah.
100%. There's a deli down the street from where I work that carries Sprecher. And hands down, favorite root beer.
It's good. Did you have the cream soda?
I've had them all.
Bro.
That black cherry cola, insane.
That cream soda,
super tasty.
Man, if you want onset diabetes pretty quick, you drink them every day.
I think that even with those sodas obviously being on the sweeter side, they are sweetened with honey, which lends to the cigar smoking a bit more. Just because it's not that like cloyingly like high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, that's a little bit lighter.
Yeah. So what was your guys' favorite of the lineup?
Platinum Batch.
Yeah.
Same. 484 for me.
I really enjoyed the Churchill. That's very rare for me to say that.
That is very rare for you to say that.
The thing I loved about this lineup, it was not more of the same. How many things have we had that is in Nicaraguan lane, and it just feels like, wow, I've had this stick like 15 other times.
Yeah.
And that was not the case with these products.
No, I get that for sure. Well, I definitely love everything that Nova's putting out there right now, which is awesome, and keep it up, Leo. We're definitely paying attention to what you're doing.
Bravo.
Yeah, thank you so much for getting us the product for this show as well. We definitely appreciate it. But I want to thank our guest and our co-host for coming on today. So, good old boy Rich.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Good old boy Benjamin.
How's about you?
How's about you? Good old boy Mike.
Mucho grande. Thank you very much for being here. Hey, come back, check another great episode of Sip Suds and Smokes Out. I will ask you to keep on sipping.
And this is me signing off, good old boy Barger, telling you to keep on smoking no matter what it is. And don't forget to go hit like, subscribe, follow, whatever you want to do online. And follow us and check out our episodes anywhere you can get episodes at.
Tell us about your favorite phrase in Nicaragua.
That's right. Tell us. We want to hear it. We do want to hear it.
No cuss words.
Yeah, no problemo.
Mike at sipsudsandsmokes.com.
No es de problemo.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you're listening to us online, do yourself a favor and tap
Tappity.
the subscribe button.
Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
The easiest way to listen to our show is to ask Siri, Alexa, Google, Uncle Larry, or whoever it is that talks to you on your phone. Play podcast Sip, Suds, and Smokes. We love your feedback, and you can reach us at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram with our handle @SipSudsAndSmokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll also be able to interact with the thousands,
Millions and millions
of other fans on those social media platforms. Do us a favor. Take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. Come back, join us for another episode, and keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.